Space, the final frontier.
This is the podcast of State of the Federation.
Its ongoing mission.
To preview strange new ships.
To seek out new builds and new combinations.
To boldly go where no fleet has gone before.
Hello there, citizens of the Federation, and welcome back to another episode of State of the Federation. My name is Tucker, and with me today are my co-hosts, Robert and Joseph. How you guys doing?
I am doing well. I am drinking on a genuine Hank's Gourmet Root Beer. I feel that awful Federation taste in my mouth.
No, hang on. What is that? Okay, so this is actually probably, I don't think this is like trivia that literally nobody knows. I love root beer. It is one of my favorite drinks. So if you know a really good gourmet root beer, I want to know about it.
Genuine Hank's Gourmet Root Beer that uses the Philadelphia recipe.
Fascinating. Does it have a really strong vanilla taste to it?
It's not super carbonated. Let me see. It is a little sweeter and less carbony. It also comes in at 180 calories per bottle.
That's about right for soda, I think.
No, this also has 44 grams of sugar.
Robert, that's about right for soda.
I thought like Cokes and everything are like 30.
It's what? It's 12 ounces in a bottle?
Yeah, this one.
Coke is, I think, 39 per 12 ounces.
Wow. Well, I bought these for a friend, and these were just sort of hanging out in my house, so I figured it'd be appropriate to drink a root beer during the show.
Just like the Federation.
Like the Federation.
Joseph, how you doing? Staying warm?
I'm great. Yeah. Well, I'm cool because of the weather, but I'm warm because the Blue Jays traded for Solarte from San Diego. So obviously, it was pretty tough times in the Yankees head office, I'm sure. A lot of hard talk and, some real morale problems over there, I imagine, now that our intrepid GM has pulled off this, signature trade.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Offseason.
I absolutely had to look who this guy was up.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, he's a secret weapon. You just don't expect him.
Okay, so wait, hang on. How do you even say this name? Yangervis Solarte?
Yeah, well, I actually don't know. Oh. Solarte is how you say his last name. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Wow, 255 with 18 home runs and 64 RBIs. Career 267
That is a man
hitter.
that changes the team.
Oh, yeah.
He's a rather significant upgrade on our previous utility infielder.
That's horrifying. That's horrifying.
Brian Cashman went and got Stanton, and our genius president went and got this guy. So
now,
check and mate.
Now, as far as I know, the Red Sox haven't done anything except re-sign Mitch Moreland, which is, well, anyway, we've gotten into that before. But now for what you're actually here for, Star Trek Attack Wings. So today...
Pitchers, catchers, 1 month away.
Oh, God, I know. It can't come soon enough.
This is not going to be a pleasant year for any of us.
It might be for the Sox.
No. I love and hate that you believe that, like every Red Sox fan, but it's not going to be.
Don't blame us if we ever doubt ya. You know we couldn't live without ya, Red Sox. You are the only.
So back to more important thing, Tucker. Hanks does have a good vanilla aftertaste.
Ooh, excellent. It's got marked for good root beer. Anyway, so let's get to the Star Trek Attack Wing. We got 3 things to talk about, but one of them is going to take 2 minutes, so we're going to start with that.
And Tucker needs to slow his talking down. Pretty much like that.
Still, it's still going to take 2 minutes.
That actually is true. Resource rumble strategy. Here is our official recommended strategy. Step 1.
Wait, we need a bake up. You did a terrible job introducing this. So, the first thing we're going to do tonight is talk about something that we have not talked about in a long time, and that is strategies for OPs. And the most recent OP that most stores have already played is Resource Rumble.
Now can I go?
Yeah, now go for it.
Okay, step 1. Run senior staff. Step 2. Run no other resources. Step 3. Equip no elite talents to any crew whatsoever. Step 4. Proceed to use a full 130 points to build a fleet. Step 5. Straight up murder your opponent.
Profit.
So step 3 is not viable because senior staff is not technically in place, so you can't actually have talents on your crew.
No, it just means you have to take that step. It doesn't mean that step's not viable. It means that step's mandatory.
No, because without senior staff
he said
in your
not
build...
He said not to take any.
Right, but you can't. So it's not even that if you had the option you could take some, you just can't take it.
Okay.
All right, I'm not even going to bother quibbling over this point. The point is, as usual, the best strategy, as in the majority of OPs, is completely ignore the scenario and attempt to murder your opponent.
I disagree. In this one, you take Cloaked Mines to place around the objective, so if your opponent wanted to actually go after the objectives to get resources, they'd be stuck in your Cloaked Mines.
Robert, I don't feel like take Cloaked Mines is a huge leap from play this like every other OP.
I think it is. I think it is where you strategically place a Cloaked Mine.
In which OP, where you are allowed to run Cloaked Mines, are Cloaked Mines bad?
It's not bad. It's just you have to. The placement of Cloaked Mines depends on the OP. So that's how your strategy changes per game, is where you place your Cloaked Mines.
All right, I still can't believe we're spending time on this.
And most stores have already played it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're completing our stated objective of bringing competitive play to this podcast, and that OP is competitive play.
Yeah, and next time we are going to do Trap Travesty. But there was enough to discuss today that we wanted to leave a more in-depth discussion for an OP that actually has some strategic depth to next time. So today, our main topic...
Oh, and what a coincidence. Resource Rumble is being played in Fremont this Saturday, Fremont, California.
Yes, that is true. Anyway, our main topics for today are the two new released faction packs. They have been seen in the wild as of the recording today, so by the time this releases on Monday at midnight, Monday, Tuesday at midnight, Sunday, Monday. I know my own release schedules, I swear. Well, when you listen to this on Monday, they'll have been in the stores for probably about a week, probably be able to get a hold of them. So we've got two new card packs here. We've got...
Oh, who do we have to thank for these images? It's Eric...
Eric Lawrence. Eric Lawrence very kindly uploaded very neat and organized images of the entire pack, which we're going to be using here for this video. So thank you for uploading those, Eric. So the two... Can we call this the Goss's Marauder pack as opposed to the Wave 2 Ferengi Card Pack? Because that's really cumbersome. Like, can we refer to... Or no, because I guess we also would have the Queen's Vessel... The Queen Vessel
Whatever
pack.
nomenclature you want, Tucker, I think we will understand.
Whatever. The point is, we have a Ferengi pack and we have a Borg pack, and they're both from Card Pack Wave 2. One's Goss's Marauder, the other's Borg Queen. We're going to look at Goss's Marauder first, starting with the ship itself, Goss's Marauder. We have here a 3143. By the way, we have discussed many of these cards already, but we're going to go over them again now that we have the full context of the pack. For example, when we talked about Learn, we had no idea what Gold Press Platinum tokens do, and now we do. So there's that. Anyway, Goss's Marauder is a 3143 Decora class Ferengi vessel, unique. Shows Tech Weapon Crew on the upgrade bar. Action bar is Evade, Target Lock, Scan. Ability is Activation Phase. After the ship executes a green maneuver, place 2 time tokens on this card. Remove a disabled token from one upgrade equipped to the ship, or equip a Ferengi upgrade that was discarded from the ship to the ship for the low cost of 20 points. So since I know that Robert is obviously going to start talking about EM Pulse or Ferengi missiles, or Ferengi missile launchers, I'm just going to go ahead and let him start doing that.
Oh, I was going to pass this over to Joseph because I was not going to talk about either of those things.
Well, no. If you're not going to talk about either of those things on a Ferengi ship with action economy, I really want to hear what you have to say.
So the problem with those two cards on this ship is that it only has a 90 arc and no reverse arc. And I would prefer to put those cards on ships where I have more utility. So this is not the ship that I would want to run it on. Because when I want to run EM Pulse, I want to make sure my ship is also attacking at either a 360 or at least a reverse arc 90 degree. And the Marauders do not have that. Is that correct? I'm correct in believing the Marauders do not have a reverse arc.
They do not.
They do not, yeah.
90.
And so EM Pulse doesn't really work on Marauders, which is ironic, I suppose. I like this ability. I think the ship lacking battle stations is a huge cost. It forces you almost to run co-pilot or a Ferengi a Ferengi captain for the purposes of getting a battle station. And actually, in the Borg pack, there's a captain that makes me much more excited for EM Pulse combinations.
Okay, well, what do you like this about with thing? Yes, words.
I think Joseph has been much higher on the Decora classes than I have. I just have not been overwhelmed by them in general. So this is not a class of ship that I find myself running.
So it can EM Pulse, you're right, is really ideal on something that can attack out of arc so that you're not losing your attack. What's interesting, because you can re-equip any Ferengi upgrade, right? It's not a tech upgrade. So the Ferengi actually have some pretty great upgrades that, for whatever reason, don't see a lot of play. I guess maybe cross-factioning puts them up 1 point too many or whatever it is, but there are some cool crew options that it would be nice to come back. Nog, which I am anticipating is a surprising suggestion to the two of you.
No, I love Nog.
Yeah, I actually think he's a pretty powerful crew, and I never see him. You can discard him to have an attacking ship roll -2 attack dice. You can put ROM on, oh no, that's the wrong ROM. So Nog is the big option, and then I don't know, maybe Omag or something like that. So there's some crew stuff you could do.
So I think the reason Nog is not played is because Julian Bashir costs 1 less point.
True. And so I guess this is a reason to play him, because you can recycle him, right?
I mean, I guess I'm just going to say the obvious one. This is an every other turn conditional surrender.
As long as you can also recur the crew.
Come on, like that's even an issue.
Right, but you're spending points to make that happen. And then they're defending Goss's Marauder, right? So it's not only...
You can do that with Wayun and Goval.
Who's going to attack Goss Marauders? It has a 3 attack. You're going to have more points on a different ship that is going to invite it to be attacked.
1 attack cancel per turn for a whole game. Yeah, I don't think you want to spend 50 points on that.
Well, it's not. It's not per turn, right? That's the other problem with this card is it's every other turn.
Well, but run 2 conditional surrenders then.
No, you can only use the ability every other turn. You put 2 time tokens.
It puts it on the ship. That's
right. Yeah.
Womp, yeah, I mean,
womp.
You could do Smuggler, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true too. There are sleeper Ferengi upgrades. I mean, that's the interesting thing.
Yeah, I think for me though, it is difficult to make a Marauder or Decora class, I should say, a effective combat vessel. And I think 20 points is too expensive in this era for a support ship.
Well, you can make specific, unique Decoras very combat playable. Like I was talking about the Kraken a couple episodes ago, but not this one. I don't think. I don't think this one is there.
And
Well,
what is it? Oh, go ahead, Joseph.
It's an interesting ability, but it is a support ability. That's for sure.
Yeah, and how many points are we losing off of Decora's? 4 points?
Mm-hmm.
No. Just two. Just 2 points.
We're losing 4 points.
The creature is 24.
No, you're right. It's 2 points. I'm sorry. I can't do math.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're not even getting that huge of a discount. So if there's original Marauders like the creature, I think that becomes a little bit more playable with the other Ferengi cards that we get.
Right.
Well, speaking of other Ferengi cards, let's start looking at them. We've got the generic Decora, 3142, same action bar, tech weapon crew for 16, which probably looked good when we first looked at it, but now that we know a Vorcha is 22, not so much.
It's nice that they're making all these generics have tech weapon crew, it seems, or that seems to be the general trend.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree, that's pretty tough. And then, what are just even the Dominion attack bugs? The generics are what?
13.
One, and they have one fewer hull and one more agility. Is that the difference?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 3-2-3-2.
And they also have battle stations on their bar, which these don't. Now, the reason these have to be more, I would suspect, is because that 4 hull means that they can carry fighters.
Right.
So
that is interesting in that right now they are the cheapest ship in the game that can carry fighters, but I don't expect that to stay the case for very long.
And I think we've talked about it a little bit offline, but I think, what was it, 2 Vorchas, 2 fighters, or 3 Vorchas, 2 fighters?
I think 3 and 2 is what we were discussing.
Yeah. So there's, again, with the Decoras, the 90-degree arc and that base 3 attack just makes them incredibly hard to justify, no matter their ability or their cost.
it's another good argument against fighters, because this poor ship shouldn't get penalized for those stupid fighters.
Well, and shuttles in that sense, though that's a little bit more of a discussion, I think. All right, so let's move on to some of the captain cards.
Sorry. One other thing, just not to, because we've been talking so negatively about Decora, and we'll talk about it in more detail later. The Solux Marauder is one I think we will see get played.
Oh yeah, that thing's sweet. And that's out of the faction pack.
That's out of the faction pack.
Yes, that is a card I absolutely remember off the top of my head.
If you perform a 3 maneuver, perform an additional green or white maneuver.
Oh yeah, that one rock-soars my boxors.
Yep. That card will see play. Absolutely, that Marauder will see play.
Man, I haven't said that in 10 years.
Welcome back. You so sad. 10 years ago is only 2007.
15 years.
Time continues to
flies.
march forward.
Yeah.
So Marauders to be successful need amazing abilities, but we are going to probably see some coming out.
That is an amazing ability.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, these other cards, we're really thinking of playing on that more so than.
Or some of the. I don't know that I wouldn't pay 22 points for the Kraken still. I mean,
Yeah, true. I
What
absolutely.
does the Kraken do again?
Disables a shield to reroll all its blank results and +1 attack die.
But it's an action, right?
Yeah, but it gets you to 5 attack dice and rerolls. So if you have Picard, it's full quality.
If you take tech baits.
Yeah.
Disable one of your activated shields gameplay. Man, there's better ways to get there.
We had this exact same discussion the last time we looked at Goss's Marauder. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Goss, it's Daemon Goss.
Before
I know.
sorry,
I'm gonna read the first ability, and then I'm gonna take us right there. I know exactly where you're going with that. He is 3.5 skill, Ferengi Captain, unique with an elite talent. He says set up, place 3 gold plus platinum tokens on this card. What's a gold press platinum token? Well, and here I actually am going to bring up the image because I totally forgot to do that.
So while he's doing that, Joseph,
I
was that
literally-
your point?
I already brought it up. I just forgot
I'm still going to ask the question. Joseph, was that your point?
I was a fool. Yeah, I was a fool to doubt him. I was going to suggest we read this out before we get into the captains.
You think I don't plan for these things? I absolutely don't plan for these things, or I would have had this image prepared ahead of time. Anyway, the point is, gold per platinum tokens, GPLT, which are probably never going to be called that and going to be called Latinum by everybody, work like this. Once per game round per ship, a captain may spend their Latinum to activate one of the following abilities. There are 3. During the planning phase, you can spend one to remove an APT. During the activation phase, once per game, you can spend any number of Latinum to equip a crew, tech, or weapon upgrade with a cost equal to the amount of Latinum spent that was discarded from this ship to this ship, and boy howdy are we lucky that they didn't put elite talents on there. Or during the combat phase, you can spend 1 Latinum to place a battle stations, evade, or scan token beside the ship. This is the quality the Ferengi have long sought.
Yeah. And you know what card they recur? Temporal Conduit. So you can get 3 lures onto one ship.
No, you can't. Temporal Conduit doesn't work on lure.
Yes, it does.
No,
if you have high con.
No, it doesn't. We're not having this argument.
It takes a little. Does it take a little more work to do it through temporal conduit?
3 times?
What?
If you recur temporal conduit,
Yeah, the only problem is you've wasted benefactors, so you're going to have 3 time tokens on it.
yeah.
Well-
So that's a big difference.
Yeah. Well, yes. And how much Temporal Conduit is 4 or 5, right?
5.
Yeah. So it's actually inefficient.
And but unless you recur, benefactor has to be on the same ship, right?
Yeah, and
Right.
you can only recur one thing with GPLT per game. Oh, I said
And
that.
benefactor is a talent, so benefactor can't be recurred.
Right.
And there you have it.
Although I guess you could recur Benefactor with Temporal... No, you can't.
No,
This
'cause
doesn't
it's-
work.
Yeah, no, it's upside down as well, so it also costs 4. So you're right, Tucker, it does work. Your instincts were correct, Tucker. It works.
What?
Just keep going. Take us through the GPLs.
GPLTs.
Okay, everybody ignore that entire conversation because it was ruled that it doesn't work and it shouldn't work, and let's not talk about it because I don't want to get into that topic. It does not, and that topic makes me very angry. The last ability...
Whoa.
If you play it, they will come.
If you play it, you literally ruin the game, Robert.
Well, I think that's probably true. So, probably a good reason not to sweep it under the rug. But anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, we should do a more thorough... I've been trying to refrain from talking about that, but I've actually... Thinking about it now, you guys are right. We'll do that next episode, or we'll do a special talk on that or something. But you're right. We should talk about that. Anyway, going back to Latinum, the last ability. I thought I already said this. The last ability is spend a Latinum, place battle stations, evade, or scan. So this is the quality the Ferengi have long sought. I totally said that already.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So,
And let's just talk about this first, because I think these abilities, independent of all the other cards, is important to discuss. And I think Joseph is a fountain of opinions on GPL.
well, I think they're great. I think that if you had any one of these abilities, they would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
all three of these abilities are good.
Yes.
I mean, the planning phase. Now you can only do one of them per round per ship, right? So you can't do three. You can't do one of each in each phase, right?
Well, you can if they're doing different ships.
Or if you have fleet captain.
No, it says once per round per ship, not once per round per captain.
Got it.
So removing an ox in the planning phase is it doesn't quite let you do red maneuvers with impunity because you're losing your actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it's really nice insurance, and you are going to be able to set up interesting moves that have been sort of previously unseen, in that you could back up twice in a row, right? I guess not unseen because you could use power grid or whatever. Obviously, the activation phase ability is, that's the one that has potential, as we just sort of talked about, to do some game breaking stuff. I mean, that it just speaks for itself. And then probably most relevant to the meat and potatoes is the combat phase, which is what most people and builds, I think, will use it for, because it basically is giving you a better than a free action battle station.
Well, I mean, in the sense that almost every single person has ever used it, this is almost literally Copilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the number of tokens you have. And I think it's very fitting, but the gold press platinum makes it good for Ferengi captains to pilot non-Ferengi ships.
Yes.
Which is neat.
Yeah. And thematic. And
there's no way as of right now to get these Latinum tokens on a non-Ferengi captain other than, of course, lore.
Totally stole my thunder.
Let's see. Rule of acquisition, right?
We're getting there.
But that's not. But that's restricted to Ferengi captain, right?
Yeah.
So it's a nice push to every Ferengi captain is essentially a free action captain now.
Isn't there a crew? Yeah, there's a crew. Place one gold press platinum token on the captain equipped to this ship.
It's Ferengi captain only too.
Oh, that's really strange. I've never seen a crew with a Ferengi captain only on it.
Yeah, it's interesting design space. And hey, let's maybe talk about all of these cards we're looking at. So I'm going to take us back to the...
Yeah, Damon Goss.
Oops. Okay. Yeah, so going back to Damon Goss. All right, so now we know what Gold Press Platinum tokens do. 5 skill, 3 point, elite talent. He starts with 3 of these. So 3 is the number of the times that Damon Goss can use the action. Unless he rules of acquisitions are read. Shut up. Anyway, he's got range 1 to 2, and his ability says, planning phase, target an obstacle, spend 3 gold press platinum tokens, and place 2 time tokens on this card. Continuous effect. While this ship is within range of the target obstacle, the ship rolls +3 defense dice. Okay, couple of questions I have about this card. Number 1, does the continuous effect stay for the rest of the game, even if you move away from the obstacle? Number 2, do mines count as obstacles for this ability?
Taking those in reverse order, yes, mines are obstacles according to the rulebook, so it would count. And 2, yes, it's a continuous effect. So once you have targeted that objective, then you retain the ability for the remainder of the game because it's a continuous effect. And the unanswered, the answer to the unasked question is this will show up in nationals because you are going to have 6 obstacles on the board to start the game. And this on a cloak ship is near unkillable.
Well, the defense dice bonus will last until the time tokens are gone.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So 2 rounds.
Okay.
Unless you can, are there ways to add time tokens?
Yeah, there actually is.
Wait, no,
Daniels.
how?
Daniels. Daniels.
Daniels works on friendly upgrades?
Oh no, it's opposing chip.
So it's 2 rounds, unless you have rules of acquisition, and then you can
Do it a whole bunch, yeah.
do it 3 times.
Or if you have the other guy and you're on Goss's Marauder, though don't run this on Goss's Marauder, that's stupid. But if you have the other guy in this pack, Cole, who puts on Gold Press Latinum, and you have Recursion for Cole, I don't know, Goval and Leanalis or something, you could do it another time, but I don't think that's really necessary.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
him on a scimitar gives that scimitar 9 evade dice for 2 rounds.
Which is gross.
Or Goss. But yeah.
I'm not as sold because I can ignore that ship if you don't activate it, or if you do activate it, and then 2 rounds later, it will be.
What if the other ship is the unkillable Sutherland, though?
Well, that's true. I guess. I mean, I guess I'm still just waiting out the clock, right? So, it is nice. 3+3 obviously is the maximum you can get, so it is nice to put all that together on just one card, right? You don't have to take Sulu and Riker and an action. I guess I wouldn't play it on a scimitar. I might play it on.
Right. I was being facetious there, but just any cloak ship, or even something like the Sutherland. Because when you're throwing that many evade dice, your captain skill isn't as important.
No, I agreed. Right. And if you take rules of acquisition, he can be helping you with your quality too. Let's not forget, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can only, because you could spend his ability,
right,
and then spend 1 to get a battle station.
Right, and that's a very important thing to remember for all the Ferengi captains going forward who can use Gold Press Latinum, is they can use their Latinum abilities in addition to the what you might call rulebook Latinum abilities. So that's actually pretty nice.
Very nice. Now, keep in mind, though, you do have to set it up a turn ahead of time because you can't... Oh, I guess you could do both in the same round, right?
Yeah.
Because these are just the 3 abilities. Yeah, so, that's not a bad opening. Maybe he isn't that bad on the scimitar, right? Plus 3 evade dice and a battle station. Mm-hmm. There are worse things.
Yep.
Right.
And keep in mind, you can use the Latinum ability and the co-pilot ability to give the same ship 2 battle stations tokens.
That's also true.
Yeah. So that could mean that your scimitar, our hypothetical scimitar here, has
and you haven't even taken your action yet.
Right. Has 9 defense dice, and then either 3 evade actions or 2 battle stations and an evade as you like.
The one difficulty that will have to be worked out, I think, is range 1 to 2. That's plenty. You know what? You've turned me around on him. I like him a lot.
Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting is that you place the time tokens on the obstacle, not on him, so you can execute his ability in consecutive terms.
No, you place the time tokens on him.
No, it says planning phase, blah blah blah, and. Oh, on this card, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So moving along to the next guy in the lineup that we've actually seen before is Lurin. So we talked about Lurin before. He's still a 5.7 skill Ferengi unique captain with an elite talent. We now know what Gold Press Latinum tokens do. They give us quality, let us redeploy things, and let us take off ABTs. And his abilities, just as a reminder, are no faction penalty for him or Ferengi upgrades. And Ferengi upgrades cost -1 SP. I will also point out, I don't think I pointed out last time, I love the no faction penalty ability because the Picard, or the picture shows him, I believe, in Picard's ready room, which is pretty great, in my opinion.
That is quite appropriate.
Yeah, and very thematic for the Ferengi.
Right. So, though hilariously, his ship is not in this pack; it is in a different pack. So, if you want to run Lurin on Lurin's Bird of Prey, you're going to have to get the independent faction pack as well. Anyway, yeah. So Robert, have we changed our thoughts on this guy at all?
We were pretty high on him initially. I think one of Joseph's comments is 5 is a pretty significant cost for a 7 skilled captain, but I think he combos well. Oh, we can't put him on shuttles. I think he combos well to get Quark onto ships, and Ferengi missile launcher onto ships, and EM Pulse onto ships. All my favorite combos. I guess 2 is probably the low end for GPLTs that we'll see on a captain. So I don't think we're actually going to see a lot of play from him.
Yeah, I think sort of his ideal scenario would be to essentially pay for himself and the cost reductions he gives to other crew, and then you get Captain Skill 7 and 2 battle stations for free, which is that's a pretty good upside, but that's pretty specific, right? I mean, it's not as bad as it's not as difficult to do. 5 is a lot, but it's not as difficult to do as maybe it seems, because it's taking the cross faction penalty away from Quark and then making him -1. So that's 2 of the 5 points right there potentially, right?
Right. But so you feel that the 2 GPLT are low, correct?
Well, it depends on what kind of ship he's going on, because if you're not expecting the ship to survive, 2 rounds to the 3rd round of combat, then 2 is low, but that could be all you need, right? If you only need 2 battle stations to make your 2 attacks before you die because it's a support ship, then yeah, I think that's enough.
And the question is also, can this be further augmented with Copilot, in the sense that I lost my train of thought. In other words, like, if you have Copilot and you have this guy spending 2, maybe you can save those Copilot tokens for later in the match, because I don't think this is something anybody has really talked about extensively, but who runs out of Copilot tokens first actually is an important factor in deciding a lot of games.
True. Very true.
So he's not bad. I don't think he's going to make the cut in a lot of fleets because, as Robert and Joseph has said, he's nothing really special, so to speak, but he's not bad. He's got utility. I don't think you're hamstringing yourself by bringing him. All right, so the next card on our list is a very interesting one to me personally, which is the Rules of Acquisition. And boy, is that a great picture of him. Backlit brilliantly. Actually, I'm looking at it now, it's almost got sort of a shopping network look to it. Like, you can sort of imagine blinking at the bottom. Buy now, only $19.95 plus shipping and handling.
3 installments, Tucker. It's 3 installments of $19.95.
Only if you call within the next 15 minutes. Anyway.
That's a great deal.
That is a great deal. And this card is actually a great deal, too.
$19.95 is worth this pack just for this card alone.
The packs are only $9.95.
Oh my God! Go buy now.
For a limited time.
Not $19.95. Now just $9.95. Okay, we have to stop. We'll do this for the next 2 hours. Rules of Acquisition. 5-point Ferengi once per ship talent can only be equipped to Ferengi captains. And it simply says, setup, place 6 Latinum on the captain equipped to this ship. So, obviously, the thing that everybody immediately springs to when we see talents with race restrictions is Lore, who, sadly, I think is probably the best captain to put this on. What do you think, Joseph?
Well, so generally, this is now the engine of the Ferengi, I think.
And lore.
And lore, is he the best? Well, so who do we have so far? These two and the old captains.
Yeah, and I just looked through, and boy, it's you want to know what's sad? You want to know what's sad? The one really good Ferengi captain ability, the one that I really, really like, which is Tar, which is at the start of the combat phase, if your ship is not in the forward firing arc of an enemy ship and you do not have a battle stations token beside your ship, you may place a battle stations token beside your ship, right?
Yeah.
Aside from Brunt, is the only Ferengi captain in the game that does not have an elite talent slot.
True,
and
but
even Brunt can take Grand Nagus.
There are ways of getting talent slots, but actually, we had this discussion, and I suppose this is a high-level strategic consideration. If we add a slot through other means, is the requirement of this being Ferengi captain only met? And I think it is, because it says the ship has to be captained by a Ferengi, right?
Yes, I would agree. You can put it on a ship with an admiral and a Ferengi captain, yes.
And the interesting thing is, if you attach this to somebody like Garrick, for example, and then you discard Garrick for conditional surrender, your captain will keep the gold press latinum because they were placed there to begin the game. So this card is actually expendable after the start of the game.
So I'm not saying you should run this on Scout 608 with lore, which also gives you a slot, Joseph.
And you're taking Vulcan High Command, so now you have two elite talents that you can discard for extra movement. What about Zek?
Zek is a...
well, he's an admiral, so you could put Zek as the admiral.
No,
but that's...
And flip side, yeah, he's a 1-point captain with an elite talent. That would work.
There's a little bit of synergy, right? Because his ability to disable an upgrade, you have to disable one of your own upgrades, which can be this now.
I see what you did there.
That's how you win nationals a couple times, folks. That's exactly how.
Because that can go on a shuttle.
No, it cannot, because rules of acquisition cost 5.
Ah!
That's the shame of it all.
That's the rub. But I think Garrick Tar and rules of acquisition is just too expensive. Even senior staff, like running senior staff in rules of acquisition.
I don't.
Maybe then. I mean, you're sacrificing captain's chair or co-pilot.
I think Garrick is too expensive, but there are plenty of cheap admirals or whatever to get.
Right, but then you're giving up your admiral slot. That's the only concern I have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's a price. But I think there are some fairly cheap ways, right? Garrick's not the only way now. Is Garrick the only crew that has an elite talent slot?
Riker does
There's
as well.
a Riker, but that's it.
Which Riker is it?
Bad Riker.
Pardon me?
Bad Riker.
Pog Riker.
Oh, it's Pog Riker?
Yeah.
I wish it was an Enterprise EF Riker.
Oh, that'd be.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, I was just about to look at what Captain Quark did, but I just realized that it doesn't matter. So.
It's also terrible. Quark has synergy with this in that it's the same sort of thing as Grand Nagus Zek, because he says, discard all of your upgrades to stop a ship from attacking this ship. And this is an upgrade, you see.
That's some good synergy.
No, it's not. Captain Quark is terrible.
I don't know. I think you're selling me out on Tucker.
Discard all of your upgrades.
If this is the only upgrade, if this is the only upgrade you have.
But why would you do that?
Because you're running a Marauder and you want to prove a point.
If Captain Quark's text was literally, if you have 6 gold press latinum tokens on this card, you win the game, I think there'd still be an argument that you should play.
Yeah, that argument's Jennifer Sisko, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Or maybe not Jennifer, just something else, Blood Oath. I don't know. The point is,
Yeah, and Captain Quark says you must discard at least one upgrade to use this action. There you go.
Oh my God! Stop.
7 points for an attack cancel? That's amazing.
It's
And you
not
can't-
even an attack cancel. It's just one of those ones that says that ship can't attack this ship.
Pretty attack cancel-y.
Even better.
This is a competitive podcast.
You know what? Which is interesting, actually. This is one of the rare situations where you can attack the ship that cannot attack you.
Yeah, but it can just attack something else.
Not if they've killed all your other ships.
That's how Quark survives.
This is a terrible plan in every possible respect. Just so our listeners are clear.
Yes. Zach and Tar, I think, are the options.
Man, that's a lot of points. That's 10 points. You're losing an Admiral slot just to get 6 gold press Latinum.
No, either or. Run it with Zach or run it with Tar.
Tar doesn't
You
have
can't run it with that. Well,
If there are ways, like you said, senior staff. I mean, what if you're senior staffing for something else?
because that happens all the time.
Whatever.
Wow.
Or lore.
What's newer, senior staff or co-pilot?
I believe co-pilot is newer than senior staff.
Senior
Yes. I think
Because I think co-pilot came with the 1764.
we're off that list now, aren't we? Like we don't have an actual list anymore that's current, do we?
Yeah, Board Game Geeks has the list of when all of them were released.
Okay. But no, but I
yeah.
mean, like, we don't have an official list from WizKids of when things are going to... Like, we can extrapolate, but we don't. So, yeah, we should... Hope we should get that once Worf kicks back up. Anyway, moving right along, we've got Dr. Rega. He's a 3-point unique Ferengi crew that says, action, discard this card. Remove a disabled token from a tech upgrade equipped to the ship and repair 1 damage to your ship's shields. Now, let me be absolutely clear about something. Effectively, what this card says is free action, discard this card, repair 1 damage to this ship's shields. I still wouldn't run that at 3 points.
Yeah, I can bend things, but yeah, to remove an action to remove a disabled token is nonsensical.
Did Dr. Rega get murdered, or did he lose? Did he lose a fist fight to Beverly Crusher?
I think he both got. I think he both got murdered and lost a fist fight to Beverly Crusher. I think both of those things happened.
She did that spin kick into that Ferengi. Is that who Dr. Rega is?
No. I think that's somebody else. Let me see if I can figure it out.
It's his episode.
Yes, it is his episode because that's the only one where Beverly Crusher was anything approaching useful.
Yeah, so co-pilot comes from Drive, by the way. Senior staff is from yesterday's Enterprise. So the listing of resources is co-pilot, then captain chair, then frontline retrofit, then long-range probe.
So senior staff is old.
Oh yeah, this is the one where Beverly Crusher does like 10 million really illegal things and doesn't get court-martialed because reasons.
Wow, so it's an episode.
Because it's an episodic series, not serial.
What? But is this the guy that?
She does not spin kick him. No.
Because I thought he faked his death and then he was the criminal.
No. It's Joe Brill who fakes his death.
Joe Brill.
He's some alien.
Okay, well that was an important distinction because someone who lost in a kick fight to Beverly Crusher, you can't play for moral reasons, right? So I guess he's available, but he's not good enough.
That's correct. Moving right along.
In the old days, I
No.
may have considered a action and 3 points to repair a shield, maybe, but
No, it's not even like it's once. I'm pretty sure. Hang on.
no, that's what I mean. Maybe because a shield was cost 2 points, so maybe I could.
All right, for 3 points, I can have Galindaro.
Yeah. Not when you're running with Lauren.
Stop talking. All right, here we go.
Spending 4 points to save 1 point, and I get my money from Greece. It's a perfect system.
Anyway, moving on. We've got Cole. 2-point Ferengi unique crew can only be equipped to a Ferengi captain. As Robert noted, I think this is the first time this has appeared on a non-elite talent, and I'm super stoked. I like that they're doing that. End phase, range 1 to 2. So if there are no opposing ships within range 1 to 2, discard this card. Place 1 Latinum on the captain equipped to this ship.
Okay, so hear me out, Tucker.
Mm.
You place him on the ship, you get the gold press Latinum, then you spend 1 point to bring him back because you're running Lurin and he only costs 1 point. Ergo, cost neutral.
And then hopefully you're in range.
And then hopefully in range.
Sure. I mean, he's not bad, right? Like I could see, this is effectively what he says is, he's a 2-point one-shot co-pilot, if nothing else.
Wait, hang on. Sorry, I'm actually looking at this card more carefully. If there's no opposing ship within no opposing ship within range 1 to 2. Yeah, so if he's equipped to Lurin, he would cost 1, and then it would always cost 1 point to bring him back.
Yeah, right.
What? Why would you do that?
Because he keeps paying for himself.
You can only do the recursion once per game, Robert. I have to tell you this every single time we discuss this card.
That's right.
So there's no line between those two pieces of text. Does he give you the Latinum token? I think people are going to call them Latinum tokens, by the way. That's my push. Rival naming convention. Does he give you the Latinum token when he's discarded?
Yes. Why would he not?
So I actually kind of thought, well, I don't think this now, but I kind of thought he did it during the end phase. So he's just one.
No. It's
I like that. So you quantum string in, and then
No. This is not worded like Tellarite Bounty Hunter. We have a card that triggers when it itself gets discarded. This says during the end phase, if there's nothing in range, you can discard this card to get a Latinum token.
Okay. So he's 2 points for 1 Latinum token.
Yeah, which I think is fair.
Man, I'd just spend it for the rules.
Man.
I'd spend the extra 3.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can do this and the rules if you want.
7. You are a Ferengi. That's just greedy.
I mean, well, we have Goss, right, who's spending 3 at a shot. Like, who knows what kind of captain abilities? Well, maybe there will be one that costs 5 or something absurd.
We're almost to the point of recurring oh dang, it's not a text.
That's true.
Force feedback. Oh, it is a text.
Yeah,
no.
Actually, yeah. You could recur. You could put Goss on Voyager, right? And then take rules of acquisition in this guy and recur friggin' transphasic torpedoes.
Well, you'd need transphasics cost 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. How many Latinum tokens do you need? Well, how much does the upgrade you want to recur cost?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
2 transphasics. Well, or you could just take 2 transphasics, though.
Yeah, it actually costs the same, and that way gets you 5 captain skill, I guess. Oh no, it doesn't cost the same because faction penalties.
It costs.
Ah.
Costs 1 more because captured.
7. Well, we need to get. Oh, and he starts with 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, but this whole discussion is silly because that's ridiculous. But Cole, I think he's playable enough. All right, Eridor. He is a 3-point Ferengi unique crew. Range 1, action. Disable this card. Disable the captain equipped to this ship. And target a crew upgrade equipped to another... I get it now. Equipped to another ship. Place a number of time tokens equal to the captain scale of the captain equipped to this ship, -2, on the target crew upgrade. Okay. This is a terrible ganker, but is really, really interesting because since it's another ship and not an opposing ship, this is the only way I know of to reliably disable a captain on the first turn. Your own captain, if you want to disable your own captain.
Disable the captain equipped to this ship. Right.
For 3 points, range 1. Yeah, I guess you can trigger it with a captain skill of 2 or less and just play 0 time tokens. Because it's minus...
so what this matters for, is even if you just do it with a generic captain, the point is you disable your captain, and now your captain is disabled for Pegasus Riker. Hood Riker.
No, I was thinking more for using cards that you want to trigger before your opponent activates.
A disabled captain has a skill of 1, so you might as well just use a generic captain.
I thought the skill of a disabled captain is like this weird 0.5.
What? No.
I thought a disabled captain activates after 1 skilled captains.
Where in the world did you see that?
I don't know. I thought that was something. I'm wrong. So it's disabled captains have a skill of 1.
You might be thinking of that critical that drops it to 0.
I'm backing Robert on this.
All right. Well, I'm going to go look in the rules.
He's only backing me because he wants it to work that way. Do not believe.
I like the idea, and where I agree. Where on earth could you have come across that? Like, I've never seen a decimal number in this game.
No, it wasn't like a decimal number. Something weird, like this ship activates after other ships activate or something.
Disable is definitely Captain Skill 1.
Yeah, hang on. All right.
So is discard, I believe.
Right, because when you discard, you get a generic captain. So then that would be skill.
Yeah, it's actually generic captains aren't actually a thing anymore. It just says you don't have to equip a captain, and if you don't, the skill is 1.
Which is fantastic.
I liked the generic captains. It let me play with cool characters. Like, it lets me put Liviana on any ship that doesn't have a captain. Or core.
Waste of card stock.
And 0 point captains don't pay.
Okay. We're spending way too much time on a card pack that is mediocre at best.
Okay, that's fine. Missile launchers. Really?
Oh,
Mediocre at best?
Let's talk about this. Well, because there's 2 iterations of this card already in play.
Mediocre? All right. Missile launchers. Weapon. Not unique. It is 3-point Ferengi weapon. Primary arc only. I got it right. I didn't say forward arc. Score. 2 attack dice, range 1 to 2. Attack. Disable this card and target an opposing ship. Make this attack twice. The second attack may target a different ship. Any crits deal damage to the defending ship's hull. Well, Robert, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, they actually clarified the language to identify you can attack 2 different ships.
You can.
You can. It is able. Yes, you were able to.
Right.
Yeah. So in the old card, it didn't actually specify that. So I like that additional language. It clarifies any potential confusion. I think that... What are you laughing about?
I'm pretty sure that it did say that, and obviously Tucker is furiously typing to.
I'm looking at it right now.
That. Well,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Tucker was just searching for an unrelated.
Oh, I heard him furiously pounding the keyboard too.
I'm off base, I guess.
Anyway, I think. Check the Facebook message. Anyway, I think this card's great. I've talked about it a lot in other episodes. That's what I have to say about this. Oh, apparently I have more to say about this because there's a message that says I need to talk about this card ad nauseum. So let's talk about the ways you can use Missile Launcher. I think you need to use Missile Launcher in combination with something like Khan from the original Reliant, which allows you to convert battle stations into crits, or use it with a Good Day to Die because you're pairing this with suicide attack vessels to get 2 crits or 3 crits, 2 crits or 4 crits onto the hull of the ship. So if you're attacking with missile launchers and dumping crits into a ship, you're killing ships with avoiding their shields, and that can be incredibly viable for certain combinations.
I think this is going to become a fairly mainstream weapon. You don't see it very often in the past, right? Or you didn't see it very often in the past. But now there's a lot of things it's good for. What you just mentioned, those are two good ways to put crits through. It is a good combination with suicide bugs, but I think it's just good. I mean, it doesn't turn the crits into hits. You're still dumping crits on their hull, which is potentially devastating, right? I mean, you just need one stunned helmsman to swing potentially the game, right?
Well, I disagree with that because I don't think you build with this alone. I think that goes to the same issue of Blood Oath, where you're relying too much on random odds to determine the outcome of a game rather than building around a specific combination. And I think, go ahead.
I think if you're using today is a good day to die, that your point holds more water. But if you're using con, you're putting you can keep putting the damage through over multiple turns. So bypassing the shields is great, right?
Yeah, but how are you boosting up that to attack? That's the other major hindrance in this.
There are many ways.
But
even if you didn't boost up the attack, it can that this is still dangerous against all 1 agility ships. I mean, it's still going to do good work against the Hathaway
over time. And the other thing is that I generally believe that people focus fire when they're playing this game. So you identify one ship and you attack it with all of your attacks possible that turn.
Right. So the exciting possibility is this gives you an option not to do that.
No, because I think you're still going to have to do that because this is probably not going to put through enough damage to actually kill a ship. Now, because
it can kill a Hathaway in 1 round.
Potentially, but so could an all-powered attack from the battle cruiser, right? Because that's 8 dice. And then that's also more effective against all ships where this just, like, you can't run this against a cloak ship at all.
Well, that's true. It is no good against cloaking unless you're comboing it with Nankless or something like that.
Right. And it's pointless at that point because they don't have any shields to break through.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. But I don't. Well, okay. Let me get to the second piece because I think I can make the argument without it, but this makes it easier. You're probably going to have it on a ship that's doing that, that's doing something extra, and that does something every time it makes an attack. So the exciting one for me is the Tomal, because you're making 2 attacks with this thing. That means you're disabling 4 shields on the opposing ship. You almost don't need to do damage
because you're effectively doing 4 damage that turn.
That's right. That's exactly right. And if you have the Tomal as your highest point captain, so it attacks first, then it doesn't matter if you kill it in 1 round or not, because you're always disabling those shields first before your other ships fire, and so you can focus fire on that ship that you want to.
Yeah.
So I expect to see it around quite a bit, and you can pump those dice up to 5 or at least 4 with quite easily.
All power is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Wow.
So, well, that's the easiest way to do it. And then you could also get Bohica and Ducat to get conversions on this battle station on the blanks, so you're always doing damage.
Yeah.
I know Tucker had to step away. We're breaking the fourth wall here, but Joseph, why don't you take us through the last card in this pack? Because I think we've said way more than we ever could about this card.
Hey, I'm actually back.
Hey, welcome back, Tucker.
Hey, so we're on Metaphysics Shields, right?
Yes, Joseph was just about to read it.
Do you want to read it?
Why don't you read it, Tucker?
Okay. I mean, we can't have a combo breaker, right?
Can we all read it?
No, that would.
There's
be
3
weird.
parts. Each of us read 1 part.
No, what? Why are we? Okay, fine. Why not? It's fun. All right, so metaphysics shields, once per ship, Ferengi, tech. Increase the ship's shield value by 1. Joseph.
Discard this card when this ship has no active shields.
Robert.
When this ship overlaps an obstacle, this ship does not lose its action, but may only perform a non-free action listed on its action bar.
Wow, Robert read that with the most feeling. I think we have to.
Yeah.
I think that's the most feeling I've ever had for this card.
That's correct. So this actually, true story. I think we can all agree there's not really much to say about this card, right? It's +1 shield, and you can take actions if you overlap stuff.
Don't play it.
You can cloak a weapon 0 now.
Ooh, play it.
Oh my god. How do you even think of these things? Oh, hang on. How much? You can shield adaptation a weapon 0 now.
That's
Well,
interesting.
Buy 10 of these packs.
Why? You only need 1.
No, because you can run generic weapon 0s with shield adaptation and cloak, or with just cloaking.
Yeah.
I think that says it all.
That's probably not worth it.
I
You're
think that says it all. But yeah, that weapon 0 plus shield adaptation is. Are there any other?
That's an interesting thing, actually, because it's a scalable ability. So if you're getting full conversions out of your defense dice, the -2 doesn't almost matter in a way.
And that's actually interesting, yeah, because you're rolling less evade die because they're not getting as many hits.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's not.
So this is why you go back to cloaking.
Is there anything else without shields that?
The NX.
So no.
No, but you could get system upgrade on that.
Yeah. So no.
You could cloak those Romulan ships the proper way. Actually, they don't have cloak on their bar.
That's where you take a cloaking device from.
Yeah, so this has all kinds of use.
You want to cloak a ship? Shield or systems upgrade is Federation only, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the Avenger could take this card, I suppose.
Don't play this card. All right.
Bajoran Lightship.
So we're at a little bit past the hour-and-a-half mark. So I think it makes sense to split this into 2. We'll cover the Borg pack next time. On the whole, I kind of want to say this. Like, this pack is sort of like a B, maybe like a B+. Like, Gold Press Platinum, cool. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think that I really think Damon Goss is going to be a very competitive card, and I think Gold Press Platinum helps increase that. So there are good cards in here. I just don't think we have seen them incredibly fleshed out, and maybe we get more of that when we get the independent pack, because this feels like it's just an extension of the independent pack that we haven't seen yet.
Well, first of all, we always plan to do the Borg pack as a second episode. But for this pack, Rules of Acquisition, I think, is the engine, as I said, of the Ferengi. So that's worth the price of admission right there. I agree with Robert. Damon Goss is interesting. Lurin is potentially interesting. I think Missile Launchers is going to be kind of a common card, and there's a good chance you don't have it. So that also adds some value. And, man, Goss's Marauder, I don't think it is there, like we said, but it's close. So maybe there's something. So, it's not the same seismic shift as the faction packs and the new starter. Obviously, there's, less than a third of the cards and a quarter of the ships. But it's worth getting.
Joseph, how would you rank this against the other card packs we've seen so far? The other 4?
Well, it's way better by virtue of the Ferengi, the Latinum tokens.
Okay.
That is more of an impact than anything in the other packs except for shield adaptation. And as you know, I think shield adaptation is a bad impact. So yeah, I like the I guess I find Ferengi more interesting too. So that's an added bonus. So yeah, I certainly on par with the best of those card packs.
Robert?
I have to agree with Joseph. When we talked about it a little bit offline, I was very meh about it, but I really think the gold pressed latinum is what sells it. And Joseph's right. That is, by definition, it's game changing. So I think it does, in some ways, become the best overall card pack, with a small caveat that shield adaptations is pretty powerful. But that's one card in the pack.
Well, you know what they say. Star Trek attack wing decays, but latinum lasts forever. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for today in that case. If you liked the episode, go ahead, shoot us a message, like us on Facebook, follow us on the iTunes Store or on player.fm. Any final thoughts, Joseph, Robert?
I want to see Damon Goss on a cloaked Weapon Zero.
To turn away from the Ferengi and touch back on the OP play that we mentioned at the beginning, I really think that if you're serious about testing your meta and developing it and developing what your ultimate fleet is, you want to start running shield adaptation on a Sutherland with extra tricks, probably with Colo as the captain to start, because that's going to completely alter or move your meta around it, and that's going to lead you to the fleets you're actually going to start to play really competitively. So next OP, get that ship on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, Joseph, that was completely unfair to open up that entire conversation as your last comment.
That's
final thoughts. End of the episode. Nothing more can be said on it. That's the definitive word on the matter.
Don't run Colo. Take us away, Tucker.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be back soon to give you the Borg faction pack. But for now, dials down and make you be generous with your dice. State of the Federation is a non-profit, fan-based production of Tucker Kobe, Joseph Van Der Yacht, and Robert Fletcher. Editing by Tucker Kobe. State of the Federation original concept by Will Sanchez. Star Trek Attack Wing, the flight path system, and all other properties mentioned are owned by their respective rights holders.